Chapter 386 The Brilliant Smudge of Golden Light. As he spoke, Hua Yuao's eyes shone brightly, and an image appeared in front of Wu. There were too many things he could do with his imitation. The hat on palm, the palm that would last eternally was clearly revealed in that image. At this moment, the weather changed, and even the third elder was moved. Wu Yan wore a final smile on her face after being struck by Hua Yuao's hat on palm. Her bloodshot eyes turned clear again, and she died a glad woman. Wu was stunned when she saw this scene. Thank you. Remembrance is a magical thing. I miss my mummy and daddy. Why did you have to die so early? Why didn't you protect me? Why did you let that fatso abuse me and leave me humiliated in front of countless people in that cold basement? They destroyed my body under the instigation of that fatso, ravaging my heart and staining my spirit. I was only 15. Hatred kept me alive and enhanced my spirit to another level. My spirit of vengeance was awakened as a result. I hate those greedy and lecherous men, and I hate that fatso who tore me to pieces. I want to slaughter them, but I'm in so much pain. Am I finally being released? You let me see the light, sense what remembrance is, and witness a love that's yet to appear in my spirit. It seems like not everything in this world is dirty. There are still pure and clean things. Thank you. Thank you for letting me sense the intense love you have for that unknown person. You cleansed my heart and let me know what release is. Thank you. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. While there were many people around, Wu Yan's voice still sounded very clear on this abnormally quiet night. To the soul engineers of the evil eye tyrant Soul Engineer Legion, this mournful voice only moved them. However, the third and fourth elders, as well as Wu, were all astonished by Wu Yan's words. Wu was even trembling uncontrollably, and she muttered to herself, Elder sister, how could you bear to leave me alone? Trying to escape? The third elder shouted as he witnessed this scene. He smacked his right hand down, and a bluish-black lightning dragon instantly surfaced from his arm. Hua Yuao, Nan Qiukayu and Nan Shuishui all turned into bubbles and disappeared. While this lightning dragon charged downwards immediately, it unleashed a lightning net that engulfed a huge blot of space. The entire air seemed to be suffused with a smell that resembled ultraviolet rays coming from sunlight on a bright day. Amidst this lightning net, three sorry figures appeared slightly more than 100 meters away from where Hua Yuao and the other two had disappeared earlier. Hua Yuao released intense azure lights from his body, which resisted the strong lightning that was coming towards him. However, he still felt his body turning numb. This was the strength of a Class 9 Soul Engineer. He had managed to make the three of them reappear easily. As the only successful person to have completed the ultimate soldier plan, Hua Yuao had no intention of giving up, even though he was in a precarious situation right now. He had almost succeeded in using his imitation to confuse his opponents, which included two titled Douluo and escape. The sky was completely sealed, so their only chance of escape was through the ground. They only stood a chance if they entered the city and exploited the complex geography and messy situation to their advantage. At the same time, Hua Yuao had to rely on his spiritual interference domain and imitation. However, the third elder had reacted too quickly and killed off their hope. Hua Yuao couldn't tell what soul tool the third elder was using. However, the tremendous suppression he was under caused him to become completely immobilized as he unleashed his domain of perpetual ice. The difference in their abilities was simply too huge. Even though his soul power was already at rank 60, he was still technically a soul king because of the number of soul rings he had. The gap between a soul king and titled Douluo and a Class 6 and Class 9 soul engineer was undoubtedly too big for him to make up the difference. He could sense that his opponent didn't intend to kill the three of them. He wanted to capture them alive. That was likely because of Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukayu. The third elder couldn't bear to kill them. Could Hua Yuao only find an opportunity to escape after being captured? Hua Yuao still had a few trump cards that he hadn't used yet. However, these trump cards seemed a little too useless against a Class 9 soul engineer. What should he do? While he was normally very adaptable, he couldn't think of a way to free himself. The image that he had formed using his imitation had disappeared, and Wu was staring at him with completely red eyes. She said to the third elder coldly, I want him alive. I want to make him my human puppet and whip him every day. I want to torture him until it feels worse than death, so as to avenge my elder sister. Wu Yu's voice was very sharp. Hua Yuao could hear her words clearly, and his heart sank when he heard them. He wasn't afraid of death. However, his life was going to be a living hell if he landed in the same state as Feng Ling. Originally, he didn't want to take any chances, and wanted to conserve his abilities before trying to escape later on. However, he became more determined to escape after hearing Wu Yu's words. No matter what, he couldn't land in their hands. He would rather die than be captured. He turned to the northeast and looked into the sky. A trace of blue appeared in the pitch-black sky far away, and he seemed to see Wang Dongda's sleeping figure. Donga, I'm sorry. I might not be able to wait until you wake up. Do you know how much I miss you now? Forget it. Just let me die. Even if I die, I'll bring my yearning for you along. As he thought until here, Hua Yuao's eyes brightened. His eyes turned clearer, and a sense of yearning spread from him. His willpower soared, and golden light emanated from his body, illuminating his pitch-black surroundings. The third and fourth elders, as well as Wu, were all some of the strongest individuals around. They immediately reacted when they saw the changes Hua Yuao was experiencing. The third elder waved his hand. Everyone, retreat. The soul engineers from the evil eye tyrant Soul Engineer Legion went up to such an high-level fight, unless they were willing to sacrifice their lives to destroy Hua Yuao. He looks like he's only slightly past 20, but why is his willpower so strong? How did he manage to reach such a cultivation? Even Wu Yan died at his hands. Even with the third and fourth elders' cultivations, they were still very serious when they sensed the strength of Hua Yuao's spiritual cultivation. It wasn't difficult for them to kill him, but it would be tedious for them to capture him alive. They were very curious about him, too. Whether it was his soul skills, like imitation and spiritual interference, his cultivation, or his abnormal spiritual power, he was the kind of research subject that the Holy Ghost Church liked. If they tried to destroy him, Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukayu were unlikely to escape the repercussions. While the third elder sounded very unfeeling, he would have simply attacked them if he no longer had feelings for Nan Shuishui. Why would he have waited until now? At this point, another streak of golden light that resonated with Hua Yuao's strong willpower shone far away in the east. Furthermore, this streak of golden light seemed even brighter. It was like the sun rising in the east. There was a dominant aura about it as it rose into the sky. Even Hua Yuao was stunned when he saw this. This was the Holy Ghost Church didn't know, but he was clearly aware of the fact that he had no reinforcements. They were the only remaining ones on this rescue mission. Could it be Sister Xiaodao? However, it isn't possible for her to release a streak of golden light. That streak of golden light came very suddenly and forcefully, and soon filled the entire sky. Deafening dragon roars also reverberated across the sky, and the sky turned bright gold. Oh. Hua Yuao and the other two were already under the control of the lightning net. In the third elder's opinion, Hua Yuao couldn't possibly escape given his cultivation. That was why both him and the fourth elder turned their attention to the sudden change occurring far away. After all, they didn't know how many people had come with Hua Yuao, and how many strong individuals there were. Although Wu had obtained some information from Feng Ling was in an unstable mental state. It was difficult to tell how credible he was. It was just like how she didn't know what time the Tang Sect was supposed to make their move. The soul engineers from the evil eye tyrant Soul Engineer Legion were indeed well trained. Even though their commander wasn't around, they still came up with a targeted response immediately. Glaring beams of lights were fired from the area where all the soul tools were deployed, forming a blue net of death that reached towards the streak of golden light coming from afar. The 100 soul engineers in the air also adopted a new formation to target the incoming streak of golden light. 30 of them split into groups of 5, and each group was in charge of helming a huge soul tool. These soul tools seemed like pentagrams, and there were metal poles extending from its corners. Every pole was lifted on a soul engineer's shoulder, while the center contained a ball-like entity that resembled an eye. Dark blue light shone above this ball-like entity, and intense soul power undulations poured from it. The incoming streak of golden light clashed with this blue net. However, the shocking thing was that no explosion rang out. The streak of golden light was quickly dissipated by the net, and converted into spots of golden light that scattered in midair. What? Everyone from the Sun Moon Empire was stunned when they heard how loud the thunder was, but saw how little rain there was. At this moment, a tremendous boom sounded beneath their feet. A streak of golden light that looked like a moving dragon appeared within the area where all the soul tools were deployed. The streak of golden light was simply too quick. Wherever it passed, soul tools were instantly destroyed, and pathetic screams started to ring out. The third elder shouted, "What are the aerial surveillance soul tools doing? Log on to them." As he spoke, he shot a look at the fourth elder. He had to hold the fort here and control Huo Yuao and the other two. It was more suitable for the fourth elder to deal with that streak of golden light. The fourth elder nodded slightly. Soul rings started to rise from beneath his feet as he lifted his right hand. There were 9 soul rings, 2 yellow, 3 purple and 4 black. They showed off his immense tidal Douluo abilities. A thick black fog was also released from his body, engulfing him completely. No part of his body could be seen. This black fog started to descend. As it shifted, it revealed a sharp aura, even though it looked very gentle. In a flash, it reached the ground. Ding! A crisp sound of striking metal echoed out, and the fourth elder's black fog stopped moving, along with that streak of golden light. The figure that was flashing within the golden light materialized and appeared in front of everyone. When she appeared, she immediately caught everyone's attention. Even the evil soul masters were drawn to her, because she was simply too beautiful. Her powdery blue wavy hair flowed behind her head, and there was a layer of frost covering her ravishing face. An illusory golden dragon subtly appeared around her body. She was also holding a long spear with 2 pointed sides, pointed diagonally towards the sky. Even though she was standing in place, she seemed like the greatest creation ever. At this moment, she was looking at Huo Yuao trapped within the third elder's lightning net with her big, powdery blue eyes. Huo Yuao appeared to be in a daze. Following this dazed look turned into a touched and guilty look. Yes, this person with such ravishing looks, wavy hair, and beautiful eyes was the golden dragon girl, Wang Qiuer. Huo Yuao didn't understand why Wang Qiuer was here at such a time. However, he had mixed feelings right now. Qiuer, you were really silly. It's not worth it for me. Huo Yuao slowly shut his eyes as he took in a deep breath and gradually retracted his domain of perpetual ice. However, the layer of golden light on his body became stronger. His eye of destiny was completely open at this point, and there seemed to be countless streaks of golden light shining in this vertical eye. It appeared to be boundless. At the same time, a thin golden line also appeared on Wang Qiuer's forehead. In the next instant, it split open, revealing another golden vertical eye. It was also shining with countless streaks of golden light, and it seemed identical to Huo Yuao's eye of destiny. Everything around them seemed to solidify when these 2 eyes of destiny opened. Time and space were completely locked at this instant. Even the third and fourth elders were drawn to the golden lights from their eyes. In the next moment, Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer lifted their heads together and faced their eyes of destiny towards the sky. 2 beams of golden light shot into the sky at the same time. These 2 beams of golden light illuminated everything, and the sky turned bright gold at this final moment before dawn arrived. These 2 beams of lights intersected and instantly burst to a higher position. The pre-dawn darkness was torn apart, and a huge golden vertical eye appeared in the air. Streaks of golden light scattered everywhere and engulfed everyone. Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer were the first 2 to be affected by these streaks of golden light. An illusory projection of a golden vertical eye appeared behind their backs, turning them slightly illusory. As for the rest, including Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukai, they felt that there was something in their bodies controlling them as these streaks of golden light engulfed their bodies. An indescribable sense of crisis and suppression quickly spread in their hearts. Destiny gaze. This was the true, complete version of Destiny Gaze. Apart from Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer, a small vertical eye also appeared above everyone's heads. However, the vertical eyes above Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukai were dim gold. The vertical eyes above the rest were icy white. Take action. Quick, kill them. A sharp scream sounded out. The first to react were the 2 titled Douluo, but the 8-ring soul Douluo, Wu. She had a spiritual type martial soul, and so she was the least astonished by everything that was happening. However, she was also the most sensitive to danger. The feeling of having her destiny controlled by someone else filled her spirit of vengeance with fear, along with the deep impression that the scene in Huo Yuao's imitation had given her. She only had one thought in her mind right now: escape. The only way for her to escape was to kill Huo Yuao, Wang Qiuer, and the rest. After she killed them, everything would return to normal. Her screams was filled with spiritual undulations. The soul engineers who were in a daze were immediately jolted awake. Suddenly, countless streaks of blue light wove in the air and started to reach towards Huo Yuao and the rest. Most of the firepower was targeted towards Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer. However, something strange happened at this moment. These soul rays and cannon shells that shot towards the 4 of them struck nothing. It seemed as if they had covered every angle, and that Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer couldn't possibly escape, but nothing they fired hit them. The soul rays and cannon shells simply brushed past their bodies. It was as if some mysterious, special force was protecting them from harm. Even Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukai were spared from harm, as many soul rays simply brushed past their bodies. Idiot, who told you to attack? Seal our surroundings and don't let them escape. The third elder shouted furiously and tightened his lightning net, which helped to block off the attacks coming from the evil eye tyrant Soul Engineer Legion for Huo Yuao and the rest. While Huo Yuao was just a good research subject, he couldn't let Nan Shuishui and Nan Qiukai come to harm. Just as he shouted, Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer moved at the same time, as though they were telepathically linked. Huo Yuao sank down, and it seemed as if he was trying to collide against the lightning net below him. Wang Qiuer twisted and charged upward towards Huo Yuao. The fourth elder naturally wouldn't let her go to Huo Yuao's aid. He snorted, and black fog spread from his body. A sinister beam of cold light instantly surfaced and slashed towards Wang Qiuer's head. The fourth elder's martial soul was a netherworld sword. His netherworld sword was extremely special. It could create another alternate plane of space that was illusory, mysterious, and unpredictable when it was used. Every time this alternate plane of space was created, he needed to ignite someone's spirit as the price. As his cultivation increased and he became a tidal Douluo, he could only seal the souls of 9 dead people. After using them, he had to replace them. Even with all this, he was still considered one of the evil soul masters that had committed the fewest sins. This attack of his was called Netherworld Slash, the fourth elder's first soul skill. It was sharp and quick. With the abilities of a tidal Douluo, even a small hill could be slashed in half with this soul skill. The third elder revealed a disdainful look on his face when he saw how Huo Yuao charged downward. He mimicked a clenching action, and his lightning net shrank once again. He was confident in his soul tool. No protective barrier was effective against his lightning net. An invincible barrier could only protect one's body, but it couldn't help one breach his lightning net. Huo Yuao had unleashed an invincible barrier earlier. After some time, it had slowly faded away. Right now, the third elder thought he was courting death by clashing directly with his lightning net. His lightning net was called Lightning God's Binding, a class 8 soul tool. Although it was mainly control type, it was still classified as a class 8 soul tool in terms of its strength. Huo Yuao dove downward while Wang Qiuer charged upwards, and they were both facing the interception of a tidal Douluo. However, they weren't looking at their opponents at this moment. Rather, they were looking at each other. Wang Qiuer saw an apologetic and doubtful look in Huo Yuao's eyes, but Huo Yuao could only see Wang Qiuer's determination. The 2 of them were getting closer and closer, but the 2 tidal Douluo also intercepted them at this moment. They were less than 50 meters from each other, but these 50 meters were like a huge divide that was separating them right now. They didn't have any verbal interaction, and Huo Yuao didn't even unleash his spiritual detection. However, another change occurred at this moment. Their left legs shone at the same time. A strange yet blurry light flashed. In the next instant, the third elder's retracted lightning net swept through nothing but air, and the fourth elder's netherworld slash hit nothing. Huo Yuao and Wang Qiuer had both disappeared at this instant. Even though they disappeared for only an instant, they managed to avoid the interception of these 2 tidal Douluo. When they appeared again, they were already next to each other. 6 eyes were looking at each other. Apart from the normal 2 pairs of eyes, there was also the pair of eyes of destiny. Why do you have to do this? Huo Yuao asked gently. Wang Qiuer looked at him coldly, and something flashed across her eyes. Because I'm willing to. Huo Yuao sensed how warm Wang Qiuer's palm was when he held her hand. Their soul powers were instantly, completely connected. Their eyes of destiny shone brightly on their foreheads, and they also released golden lights from their bodies at the same time. Their auras experienced transformations at this moment. The golden dragon that initially revolved around Wang Qiuer now suddenly revolved around both of them. The azure lights that came from Huo Yuao's body were also released with their bodies as the center. Yes, it was a martial soul fusion. When they held hands, they completed their martial fusion. Huo Yuao had never thought of giving the fusion between him and Wang Qiuer a name. However, he was willing to call it the Hokage power now. He didn't know why Wang Qiuer had appeared at this moment. However, Wang Qiuer's arrival gave him hope in this life and death moment. After months of close door cultivation, he also became clearer over many things. The debt he owed Wang Wang Qiu became much deeper right now. He had only once ever asked himself whether Wang Qiu really didn't belong in his heart. The answer was negative. When he learned that Wang Qiu plucked another vine of yearning heartbroken grass to save him at the ice fire Yin Yang well, a slit opened in his heart for her. When that golden dragon rose into the sky, its roars reverberated, and Wang Qiu's powdery blue wavy hair appeared in front of him. Apart from feeling guilty, he was also excited. The fighting intent in his heart was instantly ignited and started to burn unprecedentedly strongly. No matter what, he had to charge out. It was for himself, for Wang Donga and for Wang Qiu. While Huo Yuao was burning with passion and feelings, Wang Qiu felt very cool. There was a cool aura coming from Huo Yuao's palm. This cool was extremely comfortable, especially when her hand was being held by his strong yet stable hand. She only felt that her heart had collided with something. The resilience that she had mustered up before coming seemed to be crushed once again. Nemesis. He's my nemesis. Wang Qiu pursed her lips tightly. However, she also blushed slightly, which made her look even more captivating. If she was with him, so what if she was against thousands of enemies? Only the two of them knew their own psychological changes. Even though they hadn't faced many enemies together in the past, they seemed to already have great telepathy with each other, and it wasn't inferior to that between Huo Yuao and Wang Donga. Their instant teleportation left leg bones brought them close to each other. When their martial souls fused, they both surpassed their original cultivations and reached another realm. At this point, Huo Yuao was holding onto Wang Qiu with his right hand. His left hand was empty. When he pulled Wang Qiu, he lifted his left hand, and the little snow lady silently separated from his back. A white glow started to ripple behind Huo Yuao's back. 2. Another miraculous scene was also playing out behind Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu. After they unleashed their destiny gaze earlier, a projection of a vertical eye had appeared behind each of their backs. These vertical eyes now also turned orange gold. The third elder's thunder god's binding lost its effect in the sky, and he had no choice but to stop, as he was shocked. Nan Shuishui and Nan Qikai were still stuck within his binding, and he had to deal with them first. He lifted his right hand and pulled them to his side. However, Wu was impatient, and she unleashed her pitch black spirit of vengeance immediately. She screamed and charged towards Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu in fear. A streak of deep blue light swept past the sky, carrying a sinister chill and the Snow Emperor's pride. It didn't even bother with the fourth elder's netherworld sword and went directly for his head. His netherworld sword only swept past Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu. They didn't even intend to dodge this attack. Did the fourth elder make a mistake? However, Huo Yuao's empress's sword, the Snowless Glacier, landed directly on the black fog. The black fog where the fourth elder was instantly took form and converted into the sword tip of his netherworld sword before it shot upward, blocking Huo Yuao's Snowless Glacier. However, something weird occurred. As the two swords were about to clash, Huo Yuao's empress sword seemed to be guided by an unknown force. Even the fourth elder's lock-on abilities lost their effect at this moment, and Huo Yuao's empress sword brushed past his netherworld sword before slashing at his black fog. What? The fourth elder groaned. As he retracted his black fog, he reappeared in midair and turned into an ice sculpture. Even though this ice encasement was crushed in the next moment, the fourth elder was still struck by Huo Yuao's empress sword, and he staggered back. The entire process happened very quickly, but it was still unbelievable. How was the fourth elder so easily hit in this direct clash against his opponent, even though he was a title Douluo? In addition, Huo Yuao's abilities were miles below him. Huo Yuao revealed a slight smile on his face. He turned and lifted his head. His eye of destiny was flashing purplish gold right now. It was his spiritual shock. Wu suddenly stopped in midair. Following this, she screamed pathetically and was even flung backward. While she was supposed to have great immunity against Huo Yuao's abilities given that she was also a spiritual type soul master, she was completely suppressed, as her spiritual cultivation was inferior to Huo Yuao's spiritual cultivation. Huo Yuao's pure spiritual cultivation was already superior to hers. In addition, his soul power had fused with Wang Qiu's soul power, and thus his overall soul power had increased. In terms of cultivation, this combination of Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu wasn't any weaker than Wu. While Huo Yuao attacked, Wang Qiu didn't stay idle. When Huo Yuao unleashed his Empress Palm, she was clearly aware of what he was trying to do. She raised her golden dragon spear, and golden light emanated from her body. These golden lights, which seemed to shine in thick layers, instantly gathered toward her right hand. Huo Yuao's Empress Palm slashed the ice sculpture. In the next instant, Wang Qiu's spear turned into a streak of golden light that shot straight towards the fourth elder's chest. Wang Qiu was extremely adept in direct confrontations. Her terrifying strength made her publicly recognized as the top dragon warrior in the Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament. Right now, she wasn't just unleashing her own strength. She also had Huo Yuao's soul power to supplement her. Considering that their soul powers were completely compatible, the fusion of their soul powers didn't just spark a linear increase. That streak of golden light carried both Wang Qiu's strength and Huo Yuao's spiritual intent, and it reached the fourth elder instantly. The fourth elder groaned, and a dark green light shone from his netherworld sword. A tragic scream sounded, and a human-shaped figure could dimly be seen getting crushed. The light that came from the fourth elder's netherworld sword turned weird. The dark green sword light was refracted and caused everything to look as if it came from two different worlds. Another purplish netherworld sword silently appeared and maintained a parallel position to the dark green netherworld sword. Wang Qiu's golden dragon spear rapidly shot forward and stabbed just in between the fourth elder's two netherworld swords. However, they combined together at this moment, and a strong layer of silver light was released from between these two swords. There was a clang of metal, and Wang Qiu's spear shook tremendously. It had already stabbed halfway between the two swords, but it didn't manage to stab completely past them. It thus failed to reach the fourth elder's chest. Wang Qiu's expression changed slightly. In the next instant, her spear had already turned into a streak of flowing light and sprang into the air. The fourth elder's 9 soul rings started to flash once each, but in a random order. Yes, this was his netherworld sword's ability to utilize the power of space. The fourth elder coldly stared at them. You wasted a netherworld soul of mine. In that case, I'll use your souls to replace it. His dark green netherworld sword shot forward, while his purplish sword disappeared. However, his second and third soul rings lit up at the same time. He was about to unleash his netherworld force and myriad netherworld blades. Green lights shone extremely brightly, and the fourth elder's netherworld sword instantly grew larger. It changed into countless sharp swords that shot towards Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu. Suddenly, the entire sky turned green, and space itself seemed as if it were about to be destroyed. This was what a title Douluo was capable of. Even though the fourth elder's cultivation couldn't compare to Elder Sun, he was still a title Douluo, and his fighting strength was still extremely terrifying. Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu turned extremely serious. However, they had no intention of backing down. The two of them stared at each other. Wang Qiu quickly moved in front of Huo Yuao, and he let go of her hand. Instead, he tightened his hands around the sides of her waist. Wang Qiu's waist was very slender. Huo Yuao's hands covered 2/3 the circumference of her waist just like that. However, her slender waist was filled with explosive strength. Wang Qiu shouted, and 7 soul rings rose from beneath her feet. Yes, 7 soul rings. Wang Qiu had managed to advance from 6 rings to 7 rings in just a few months. Apart from the soul power increase she got from the Yin Yang Love Querying Valley, her own cultivation had also improved significantly through the tournament earlier. She was now a soul sage, and had improved significantly from before. A gigantic golden dragon head silently appeared in front of her body. She faced her palms together before wrapping them against each other. At this moment, her first, second and third soul rings lit up. Her first, second and third soul skills, golden dragon body, dragon strength, and golden dragon's fist respectively, were unleashed at this moment. Netherworld swords kept on flashing past in the air, but they struck at nothing instead of Huo Yuao and Wang Qiu because of the power of destiny. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.